Howdy YouTube, and welcome to this episode of the Gunman. So today we're going to be doing a respray on this C180 Mercedes Benz. So this car here came in with flaky paint all over the car. Now the panel beaters did most of the work on this, I must admit, or the body men as you would call in the USA. I've had some people say, what's a panel beater? What's a panel beater? They're laughing at my accent, they're like, they can't even understand what I'm saying, let alone what it means. But yeah, in America it's called a body guy. Over here in Australia we call it a panel beater. So yeah, those guys basically, they did most of the work on this car. They stripped it out obviously, and then one of the guys even paint stripped the hood, or the bonnet as we would call here in Australia. And then, yeah, we took over from there and we primed it up, but then they were actually pretty quiet in the panel shop for whatever reason. They got all their work done and we were a little bit behind, so they came in and helped us by blocking all the panels down, and we just said, yeah, leave it at the blocking stage and we'll use the orbital sander to finish that off, and then we'll do all the edges. So I did all that, so I spent like probably half a day on it to get it up to here, or nearly a day's work actually to finish the prep work off. I then cleaned the entire car down, so I took it outside, I gave it a really good hose down and a scrub down, like I cleaned the wheels, inside the door jambs and all that, and then I let it drip dry overnight. And just once I got it into the booth, I obviously masked it all up, and I kept a keen eye out for any bare metal spots. Sometimes you will cut through to bare steel when you are doing your prep work, and that's those slightly lighter grey primer sections. That's where I've gone through the bare metal and put some etch primer over the top of that. So yeah, like, I do apologise for not getting any footage of all the prep work and the masking, and even before we started on this car, I did look at that car and I thought I should at least take a photo of that, but I'm a very busy man, especially when I'm at work. I'm running around like a headless chook, as my mum would used to say. But I'm always trying to get a job done so that we can get ahead. We never usually do get ahead, but it's a good problem to have, I guess, being too busy. You don't have too much time to be bored, at least. Yeah, I can't stand it when we're too quiet. If we ever are too quiet, I just say, hey boss, I'm going home. I'd rather be at home relaxing than standing around twiddling my thumbs at work. But yeah, it's really not that often at this workshop, which, as I say, it's a good thing. But yeah, this is actually a good trade for that. I think it's relatively recession proof. I think, you know, you do get some periods where you slow down a little bit, but because people still drive cars, even if times are slow, they still pay for their insurance on their cars, so you're still going to have a fair bit of work even in quiet times. But the gun I'm using here is the DeVilbiss GTi Pro Lite, and it's always a little bit of a sad day when your clear gun gets demoted down to like VOC or colour. So this is the GTi Pro Lite Vigilante Edition. I absolutely love this gun. It looks so nice. So I believe we won't be getting any more guns that look this cool or this good from DeVilbiss for a while. I heard through the grapevine that DeVilbiss are no longer customers of the people that do the wraps. So DeVilbiss never actually did these wraps on these cars, on these guns themselves. They'd make the gun and they had like a third party, or a third party that would actually put the wrap on the gun, which is the design of the gun, and they had some really cool designs, including this one and the Nebula, but they don't do them anymore, unfortunately, and it doesn't look like they're going to in a hurry from what I hear anyway. So yeah, if you've got one of these like Nebulas or Vigilante editions, just hold on to them, because you won't be getting anything looking this good in a while. But at the end of the day, behind that pretty face is just a DeVilbiss GTi Pro Lite. It's the same as the rest of them, same air caps, same fluid tips, and yeah, like, this gun's really fast. So I've got the TE20 on it. I don't know, like, I've read some comments and some people reckon that the DeVilbiss GTi Pro Lites are too slow, and I'm like, man, this is only the 1.3. You whack a 1.4 on your Pro Lite, man, it's not going to be slow. Like, I wouldn't want it any faster than this. You know what actually happened is I got home with all this footage and I threw it into the video editor, and it came up to something like 20 minutes. And I thought, oh man, have I like lost some of the footage. I thought to myself, I must have, you know. Then I actually had another look at it, and I'm like, yeah, well, I did, for starters, I did only have the spraying stage and just little quick snippets of it before it went into the booth. And then the other side of it is that it's obviously a little bit of a smaller car, you know, it's only a 2-door, big doors, but it's only a 2-door, and yeah, then I realised, wow, I must have got around that pretty quicker than what I would have expected. So less than 20 minutes, I reckon it was like 18 or so minutes of the raw footage that I had of spraying both coats on. So obviously I did leave it for a little bit in between coats. I think it was probably 15 minutes, just being a respray. I just wanted to leave it a nice amount of time to flash off in between coats. So the paint I'm actually using is Standox VOC Topcoat, and this stuff is, honestly, it is second to none. It is a really good quality paint, but I tell you what, you pay for it. Like, you're talking average user off the street, $200 or $190 at least, $190 for 1 litre. So I used 2.5 litres on this, and then obviously you've got your hardener on top, so that was 2.5 litres of colour, and then a 3 to 1 ratio. That's what the ratio of this VOC top coat is, so 3 to 1 hardener on top of that. And one of those hardeners, our price is I think $250, so off the street you're probably like $300, so you'd be up for minimum $1,000, I would say, materials on this job here. So obviously you could lower that substantially if you were to go and use some cheaper paints. Like if you wanted to go and get some Nason Industrial, hey, it'll look fine, but it probably won't last quite as long as this Standox 2K Topcoat, VOC Topcoat. But yeah, look, I decided to use some slow hardener in this job this time. I think it was like 25-30, just to help it, I don't know, keep a gloss. That's what I've found. Like sometimes if you speed it up too much, you can lose a little bit of gloss. But on the other hand, you know, it doesn't mean that you have to. You still can use fast hardeners, but I just thought, you know what, I've got time. I'm not in a hurry. I'm doing this respray and I want to do it as good as I can. The job actually came up really mint in the end. One thing that was a little bit annoying is on the boot lid or trunk, whatever you guys call it in America, there's lots and lots of nibs in it, and that's partly because of the stuff just blowing out of those moldings. Like you can see what I'm doing here is just whacking an extra really heavy coat on just to try and bury some of that stuff in there. And yeah, then I gave it a good 15 or so minutes, as I said before, and then we'll put another coat on, another really nice and heavy coat on for the second coat. But yeah, there's like a garnish on that boot lid and you can't get it off. The panel guys were telling me that it's urethaned on, so they said you just can't get it off without breaking it pretty much. And I actually believe sometimes these car manufacturers, they put parts on and they make it so that you can't get them off without breaking them, so you have to buy a new part, you know. So we had not much of a choice but to mask it up at the end of the day. So yeah, I didn't do my best to clean it out. Like as I said at the start of the video, I took it out and gave it a really good hose down the night before, and there was just dust, like dirt, and it was like half a tree left inside there. But obviously I didn't get it all out. You do your best sometimes, but sometimes it's, I mean, at the end of the day, I was able to polish it out. It's not a big deal. It's not like I ruined the job or anything, you know. That's what I even said on the Monday morning when I was unmasking. I showed the guy that I work with, and I said, well, what do you do? Like, respray it, and then the same thing's probably going to happen again. I may as well just polish it out, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's the way to go. No big deal. You get that on the big jobs, I guess. But, yeah, totally loving this Pro Lite for VOC Topcoat. I don't usually use my Pro Lites for VOC Topcoat. That's probably part of the reason I really had fun spraying this, and didn't quite realise how, I don't know, awesome it was for using on this. And, I mean, it is a lot better than the gun I usually use for VOC Topcoat. So, I usually use the DeVilbiss GTi, and I don't know, it's just one of those ones that I really like the gun for what it is, and you're not so like particular with it. I mean, I still always look after all of my guns, and I do like all of them, but because of the price, like I know what those GPIs are worth. Like, you don't feel like, oh no, I'm putting wet on wet primer, or I'm putting sticky VOC Topcoat red through my GPI. Whereas when you got like your Pro Lite, you're like, that's my nice shiny Pro Lite with Vigilante design down the side. You know what I mean? Like, that usually gets reserved for the best job, which is, I mean, the clear coat. I mean, you could probably argue that your base coat colour is more important than your clear, but I guess at the end of the day, you can't really say that one step in spray painting a car is more important than the other. I guess you could say that the clear coat stage or the final finish is, you know, funner. It might be a little bit more enjoyable to watch or even to do, but it's no more important than the prep work or the masking or colour matching or anything involved in the entire process. But yeah, as I was saying about the GPI, the gun that I usually use for my VOC Topcoat, I like having one of those guns that you can just be like, yeah, I can get it, you know, the inside's a little bit dirty and not have to worry about it being like a touch of red inside there. Whereas if you just bought yourself a $1,000, I don't know, whatever gun it be, name, fill in the blank, I guess, DeVilbiss or Iwata, they've all got guns that are right up around that price now. You know, it sounds crazy to have, like, buy a gun for paint but not want to put certain paints in it. I know it does really sound weird, so if you're not in the trade, you'd probably be like, what the hell is this guy on about? Why wouldn't you want to put paint inside of a paint gun? But there is a difference between your clear coats and your colours and stuff like that. Like, red is really as tricky colour to clean out, so I did actually strip this gun a little bit more than usual when I did finish spraying with it. So yeah, it's no longer a colour virgin, the poor old Vigilante, hey? So yeah, a sad day indeed. But it definitely rose to the occasion. It might even end up being my dedicated VOC Topcoat gun from now on. We'll see how we go. So to be honest with you guys, I've run out of stuff to say. I'm going to leave the beautiful noise of the spray gun and the spray booth in the background for you guys. If you want to continue watching only the parts that I've narrated, skip up to 19 minutes and I'll give you guys a look at the spraying of the parts. And yeah, we'll take it from there.
much better than what I thought the VOC Topcoat, man. That is sick.
So yeah, obviously pretty impressed with how that job came up. As I said, there was a few nibs in the boot lid, or whatever you want to call that hatchback on that car. Nothing that wasn't able to be polished out in the end. So end results is all that really matters. So on the following Monday, so I sprayed the vehicle on the Friday, and this is what I ended up doing on the Monday morning. These were all done before my lunch break, which was good. So obviously sprayed all these parts. I actually used a different gun this time. I just felt like using the Segola 4600. Nice fast gun. You know the reason why I actually use the Segola 4600? Because, drum roll, we have a new top 10 spray guns video coming very soon. So I've got, what I'm doing at the moment is actually capturing footage, and I'm actually refreshing myself on the spray guns themselves. So yeah, I've got all the information on my opinion on each gun fresh in my mind before I do go to make that top 10. So I did a top 10 spray guns video in 2015, I think it was. So yeah, it's getting a little bit dated, and a lot of people have wanted a updated top 10, and Segola 4600 is going to be in there. What number will it take? We'll just have to wait and see. So that's all those parts going back onto the car. We've got the panel guys out there, and I think at this stage I had actually already started to polish this car up as well. Now it wasn't completely finished, it wasn't actually washed at this point, but you may have also noticed that I sprayed that garnish at the back of the car as well. So I just sprayed some clear coat over it. You're about to see a still image of that garnish when it was in the booth just after it was sprayed. So look, I wish I did actually get some footage of this vehicle when it came in, because it was pretty badly faded and there was like no clear left at all on many spots. But there we go. Hope you guys did enjoy watching this video. Until next time, get out there and paint some shit. Thanks for watching, and this has been another Gunman production. Goodbye.